Have you ever wondered why some of the largest corporations, once symbols of the American economy, are gradually leaving their homeland? In 2025, a significant shift is quietly happening that few are paying attention to. 6 major names, companies we've always associated with the image of America, are deciding to pack up and seek a new home. What's really going on? Why are these companies, with their immense economic power, choosing to leave the land that nurtured them for so many years? One reason could be that production costs are no longer competitive. Import policies, especially aluminum tariffs, have pushed companies like Coca-Cola, Alcoa, and General Motors to look for new markets to lower their production costs. But is it as simple as that? Or is something deeper happening within the political and economic systems of the US? These companies aren't heading to distant countries. Their next destination is Canada, a country known for its stable political environment, lower taxes, and transparent business practices. Is this shift simply a strategic economic decision, or does it reflect a deeper loss of faith in the systems and policies of the US? And among all these names, there's one final company, one you might not expect, that could truly make you reflect. Coca-Cola, a name synonymous with the American summer, the red and white cans, and childhood memories of joy, is now at a significant crossroads. We've always associated Coca-Cola with the American identity, but have we noticed the quiet shift happening in 2025? Coca-Cola's story is not just about familiar soda cans. It is a sign of a larger trend affecting the entire American manufacturing industry. For decades, Coca-Cola has been a symbol of success in US manufacturing. However, in 2025, an inevitable shift began. Rising production costs, supply chain disruptions, and economic instability have put Coca-Cola in a difficult position. The company relies heavily on aluminum to produce billions of cans each year. But when the US imposed tariffs on aluminum imports from Canada, coupled with domestic supply chain interruptions, the price of aluminum surged uncontrollably. Faced with 2 hard choices, either accept losses or seek an alternative solution, Coca-Cola had no option but to look elsewhere to maintain production. And that place was Canada. These moves weren't accompanied by grand announcements or dramatic headlines. Instead, they signaled a quiet, strategic shift. Coca-Cola has discreetly moved part of its production lines to Ontario, where packaging plants are supplied by aluminum from Quebec. This may seem like a small move, but it signifies something much larger. As factories in the US slow down, jobs gradually disappear, and soon, those Made in America soda cans could soon carry the label Made in Canada. This change is not just about shifting production geography. It's a shift in how Coca-Cola is adapting to a new economic environment. What is it that's causing Coca-Cola, a symbol of an era and American industry, to consider leaving its homeland? How can tariff policies and broken supply chains push a giant like Coca-Cola to seek another country? And will Canada, with its lower production costs and stable political environment, become the ideal destination for other large corporations? Could this change signal a different future for American manufacturing, where big companies no longer feel safe within the US? And if Coca-Cola, a traditional symbol of America, must also pivot, what can we expect from other industries in the near future? This shift may not only impact one brand, but it could also mark a profound change in the economy and identity of the United States. The question now is, are we ready to face these changes, or will we continue to let the major icons of American industry search for new shores? And could this be a sign of a global shift, where companies are no longer just seeking profits, but must ensure sustainability and long-term growth in an ever-changing economic landscape? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to follow these fascinating stories of change and to stay updated on what the future holds for American industries. When Alcoa, one of the biggest names in the aluminum industry, quietly began to shift in 2025, it didn't just mark a change for one company. It reflected a broader, more significant issue: the profound transformation within American industry. If you haven't heard of Alcoa, you've definitely used products made from their aluminum, from airplanes, refrigerators, and windows to the soda cans you drink from every day. Aluminum is the backbone of the modern world, a crucial material used in countless sectors, from manufacturing and construction to technology. However, by 2025, Alcoa's dominance in the aluminum industry started facing serious challenges. Rising electricity costs, outdated smelting plants that couldn't meet modern demands, and high import tariffs made it difficult for Alcoa to sustain operations in the US. Meanwhile, Canada, particularly Quebec, offered advantages that the US couldn't. Abundant hydroelectric power, lower costs, and clearer regulatory frameworks. As a result, Alcoa gradually decided to shift, not with a sudden breakthrough, but with a slow, strategic transition. Ports in Houston became quieter, while Montreal buzzed with activity, filled with shipments and efficient work shifts. This isn't just Alcoa's story. Industries across the board, from automobiles and electronics to windows and building materials, are feeling this shift. And it's not just the big companies. Even workers, from miners to truck drivers, are starting to lose jobs without understanding why. This change is happening quietly, with no farewell speeches. Every ton of aluminum produced overseas is not just a shift in production, but a crack in the foundation of American industry. It's a sign that this transformation is not only impacting companies, but also the communities and regions that rely on manufacturing industries. Is this a wake-up call for those who still place their trust in traditional American industry? Are we witnessing an inevitable change, where large companies are increasingly turning to countries with lower costs and clearer regulations like Canada? Or can American industry reverse this trend, keep major corporations, and protect the domestic economy despite the challenges posed by costs and policies? Therefore, the question we must ask is, can we adapt to these changes, or will we face a future where the icons of American industry can no longer hold their place on U.S. soil? General Motors, a symbol inextricably linked to the history of the American industrial sector, has long been a driving force for the economy of this country. It was the heartbeat of cities like Detroit and Flint, where each factory represented a mark of working-class pride. However, by 2025, despite the ongoing demand for automobiles, GM began facing a harsh reality: escalating production costs, disrupted supply chains, and the inability to maintain production as it once did. Once a symbol of prosperity and the manufacturing might of America, GM can no longer produce cars on its own as it once did. The company relies on thousands of parts, many of which come from Canada. When new tariffs were introduced, these parts became significantly more expensive, driving GM's production costs sky high. Unlike raising the price of a soda can, GM cannot easily raise the price of a car. With Americans tightening their belts, selling new cars has become increasingly difficult. So what is GM to do in this situation? They started asking themselves whether there was any reason to remain in the US when Canada offers superior advantages: lower costs, quicker processes, and a more stable environment. This wasn't a sudden decision, but a quiet, strategic shift. GM is gradually expanding operations in Ontario, hiring engineers in Quebec, and increasingly doing less in its US factories. A single drop of water doesn't cause a flood, but in manufacturing, each drop slowly erodes the foundation of the entire industry. When a factory slows down, not only does the company feel it, but the entire community will sense the change. Schools lose students, stores close down, and hope starts to fade. GM hasn't fully left the US yet, but every dollar the company invests in Canada is a dollar less building the future of American industry from home. If even GM, a company considered a symbol of the American working class, is shifting and changing direction, can we not ask ourselves how solid the foundation we stand on really is? Is this shift a major warning for the entire American industrial sector? And if large companies continue to leave, what will be left for the communities and the economy? The questions to consider are: A. Is the shift of GM and other major companies simply a strategic economic change, or a sign of a serious decline in American industry? If you agree, leave A in the comments. B. Or do you think America can still save its industrial sector and the changes are only temporary? If you believe this, leave B in the comments. Share your thoughts and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated on the ongoing transformations in American industry. Tesla is not just an electric vehicle company, but also a symbol of innovation and the American dream of leading the next technological revolution. With breakthroughs in the automotive industry, clean energy, and battery technology, Tesla has proven that America can still be the global center for innovation. However, by 2025, even Tesla is facing a major question. Can the company continue to build its future in the US, where costs are rising and the business environment is becoming more difficult than ever? Unlike traditional car manufacturers, Tesla controls its entire production process, from raw materials, battery manufacturing, to software and solar energy systems. However, this level of control also makes Tesla vulnerable to external factors such as rising electricity costs, outdated infrastructure, and constantly changing policies. While many US states are still struggling with overloaded power grids and skyrocketing energy costs, provinces like Ontario and Quebec are offering a more favorable environment, with stable clean energy prices and a faster, more efficient approval process for environmental policies, as well as easy access to materials. As a result, Tesla's projects in the US are slowing down, while research labs and technology facilities in Canada are accelerating. New facilities are springing up without flashy press releases, simply driven by strategic decisions based on real-world data. This shift isn't only affecting Tesla, but the entire ecosystem surrounding the company. As Tesla shifts direction, its suppliers of robots, AI companies, and tech schools are also following the flow of investment. This is a quiet process, but these decisions have profound impacts on the future of the tech and manufacturing industries. This raises a big question. If the future is no longer being built in the US, what happens to the next generation? If companies like Tesla and other major tech innovators start moving toward other countries, how will the US economy be affected? As countries like Canada increasingly attract tech companies, this could open the door to a new generation of workers ready to tackle future challenges. But can America adapt in time to maintain its position in the global tech race? Will policies and the business environment be strong enough to retain companies like Tesla? Or will the US fall behind in an ongoing tech revolution? The questions to consider are: is Tesla's shift, along with other tech companies, a sign that the US is falling behind in the global tech race? If you think so, leave a 1 in the comments. Or do you believe that the US can bounce back, change its policies, and create a business environment that continues to lead in the tech revolution? If you agree, leave a 2 in the comments. Let's engage in the conversation. Share your thoughts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the ongoing changes in the tech world. Campbell's Soup, with its iconic red and white label, has long been more than just a familiar meal. It's been an integral part of many American families' childhood memories, especially for working-class families. A warm bowl of soup not only soothes hunger, but also brings a sense of comfort and warmth after a hard day's work. Surely, like you and me, we've all had those moments where, opening a can of Campbell's Soup, we felt the closeness and peace that comes with it, as if it's a part of our family, of our nation. But what you might not realize is that even such simple, familiar foods are now facing profound changes due to major economic shifts. More than 90% of Campbell's products are packaged in aluminum cans, and when the US imposed tariffs on aluminum imports from Canada, Campbell's production costs skyrocketed. They don't produce the aluminum themselves. They buy it from suppliers, and when the price of aluminum increases, all those costs are passed on to the consumer. You can easily imagine that for working-class families who are always watching every penny, even the smallest price increase can be significant. The price of a can of soup going up by just 10 cents might be too much for them to bear. You can feel the tension in every decision Campbell has to make. Raise the price and risk losing loyal customers, or move production to Canada to reduce costs, but face the impact on the community and supply chain. Campbell's decision isn't just about numbers and profits. It's about the relationships within the community. Packing contracts are gradually shifting to Ontario, where production costs are lower and the supply of aluminum is stable. But this is not just a change for one company. It's a quiet transformation in the lives of many people. From suppliers in Ohio to carrot farmers in Michigan. This move hasn't been announced with fanfare, no mass layoffs. But the reality is that each small change will affect the lives of those who have long been tied to this company. And I think, like me, you'll feel the difficulty in saying goodbye to a symbol, even if it's small, but one that's become so familiar. I wonder if even a can of soup, something we've always seen as a symbol of comfort in tough times, has to leave America just to survive? Are we standing on the brink of a silent crisis in American industry? Are these changes a warning for us? Those who have always believed in the value of domestic production and the power of brands tied to our culture? So, what do you think about this story? Can we witness changes in long-standing brands like Campbell's without feeling concerned about the future of American industry? Are we letting those core values slip away without even realizing it? Ford, a name synonymous with the American dream, has always been a symbol of upward mobility for the working class and the unstoppable strength of American manufacturing. From the legendary Model T, one of the first mass-produced cars, to the best-selling F-150, Ford has exemplified the power of the U.S. industrial sector for decades. However, by 2025, even Ford, a national pride, is slowly changing direction. A few months ago, Ford announced a $3 billion investment, not in Michigan or Ohio, where the company has been deeply rooted for over a century, but in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. What led to this decision? The answer lies in three key factors: production capacity, costs, and stability. Factories in the U.S. are overloaded, electricity costs are soaring, and the domestic supply chain is increasingly unstable. Meanwhile, Canada, particularly areas like Ontario, offers a more favorable environment with lower production costs, stable clean energy, ample industrial space, and a skilled workforce ready to meet the demand. This does not mean Ford is abandoning the U.S., but rather making a strategic shift, choosing to optimize costs and strengthen its competitiveness in the global market. The $3 billion investment in Canada is not only an economic move, but also a signal of the broader shift in how global companies view the market. Seating manufacturers, tool producers, and logistics companies are also starting to look toward Canada, where production costs are lower and the environment is more stable. Each new assembly line in Canada creates thousands of new jobs, but it could also deprive American workers of those opportunities. This shift is not just about Ford. It has ripple effects throughout the surrounding communities. When large companies like Ford reduce their presence in the U.S., it's not just a business strategy. It's a significant shock to the economy and to the communities tied to the automotive industry for generations. This serves as a lesson not only for companies, but also for the broader community and policymakers. While we know that American industry holds significant power and influence worldwide, it can no longer afford to rest on outdated policies and infrastructure. This is a reminder of the importance of continuous innovation, investment in infrastructure, and education to support a skilled workforce. Is the shift in investment by major companies like Ford a sign of the decline of American industry? Or is it a wake-up call that the U.S. needs to evolve to maintain its global competitiveness? Or do you believe these companies will find ways to maintain growth in the U.S. without moving operations abroad, and that America can still lead the next industrial revolution? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with more fascinating stories and valuable lessons in our upcoming videos. Have you ever noticed the shockwaves shaking up the U.S. tourism industry in 2021? 8 major American brands, once considered strong symbols of success, are now teetering on the edge of losing billions in revenue. What could be causing these once unstoppable names to fail on their own home turf? It's not economic downturns or pandemics. It's soaring prices, security concerns, and visa barriers. While once bustling shopping streets are now eerily quiet and casinos that were once packed with players around the world now stand still. 5 countries are quietly celebrating as they welcome the very tourists who used to flock to the U.S. You might be able to guess some of these brands, but a few will undoubtedly surprise you. If you skip the final part of this video, you'll miss the most crucial clue about new travel mandates quietly taking shape. The bigger question here is, how will this trend reshape the U.S. tourism industry and the job market? And don't forget, now you can walk right into Disney without waiting in line. But the reason isn't because you have a priority pass or know someone at the gate. This huge shift is happening right before our eyes. As President Donald Trump once said, "We need to make America great again, and a big part of that is keeping our strength in the tourism industry." So what do you think about this trend? How do you think these changes will reshape America's tourism industry? The reality is, no one has to wait anymore. 10 years ago, a trip to Disney was the highlight of the year for thousands of families. But now, many have completely missed out on that experience. And this isn't just gossip. Online videos constantly show that Disney parks are eerily empty, to the point where Disney characters have to run out and personally invite guests to join in the fun. International visitors to Disney have dropped over 20% since 2019, while the cost of a single-day ticket has now reached $150, not including food or souvenirs. Sometimes you could spend that same amount on a Lego set and even sign up for a month of Netflix. But price isn't the only reason why tourists are turning away. Many visitors have shared, "I went to Disney once, came back, and nothing had changed. It was just way more expensive." Meanwhile, Disney Tokyo continues to roll out new attractions, and Disney Shanghai has even transformed the entire park into a Broadway-style spectacle under the open sky. Surprisingly, even Americans are now willing to fly halfway across the world to experience these parks. What's shocking is that the ticket prices aren't cheaper, but everyone agrees it's worth every penny. With the same budget, families can enjoy a foreign vacation, experience a fresh take on Disney, and show off their travels to friends and family. This year, we went to Japan. This is the biggest problem Disney faces today. Not just losing visitors to the parks, but also losing customers to destinations outside of the U.S. If you're from the generation that took your kids to Disney in the 80s and 90s, you'll feel the change. A once shining icon is now slowly fading like an old tree in the garden. Still standing, but its green leaves are thinning. So, what about you? If you had $5,000 for a family vacation, would you choose Disney World in Florida or Disney Sea in Tokyo? Your answer may reveal more about your priorities in life than you think. Do you remember the legendary slogan of Las Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. However, what's happening now is that what happens in Vegas is no longer staying there. The truth is, customers are slowly but surely leaving this iconic city. If you don't believe it, take a moment to watch this video. The once bustling entertainment spots are now so quiet that you could run through them without bumping into anyone. Just a few years ago, Las Vegas was still considered the entertainment capital of the world. The casinos were brightly lit with neon lights, and there were long lines of people waiting day and night to watch spectacular shows by stars like Celine Dion. Fremont Street, known for its lively music performances, was always filled with tourists. But today, according to the latest reports, MGM Resorts casino revenue has dropped by over 15% since 2019. The number of international visitors has fallen so dramatically that some casinos have had to close during the week, something that never happened before. People often blame the prices. Hotel rooms skyrocketing, expensive tickets for premium shows, and service fees that seem to increase every year. But that's not the full story. The bigger problem is that Las Vegas is no longer the only option for those seeking entertainment experiences. Cities like Macau, Singapore, and Dubai have built even more modern and luxurious resorts. And, more importantly, they don't charge $8 for a bottle of water like Vegas does. Here's an interesting statistic. Macau is now attracting double the number of high-end tourists as Las Vegas, and many of them are Americans. They fly halfway around the world just to find something different in life. But they're willing to spend big bucks on these far-flung resorts while Las Vegas struggles to bring them back. Of course, MGM isn't sitting idly by. They've started experimenting with non-gambling experiences, from high-end dining events to international concerts and full wellness services, all aimed at attracting families and younger generations. After all, Not everyone who visits Vegas is there for a blackjack table or a deck of cards. But there are many who are willing to pay for experiences that make them feel special and different. Could this be the way to restore Vegas's former charm? A place that once had people fighting to get in the doors of its casinos? Imagine a Vegas that isn't just about gambling, but also a hub for culture, entertainment, and wellness. A Vegas where families can find their own joy, where young people can experience a refreshing lifestyle without worrying about sky-high costs. And above all, Vegas will no longer just be a place you visit to play. It will be a place you go to live, to enjoy, and to feel the transformation every single day. Today, you can easily move around stores, even dance the tango down the aisles without bumping into anyone. Remember the golden days when Macy's and Bloomingdale's were must-visit destinations for international tourists coming to the U.S. Shopping there wasn't just about spending money. It was an emotional experience. The annual holiday sales, the suitcase full of gifts, and then going home to tell friends all about it. All of these created unforgettable memories for shopping enthusiasts. However, things are changing. According to retail industry reports, revenue from shopping by tourists has decreased by as much as 25% in recent years. The main reason is the significant drop in international visitors coming to the U.S. Shopping habits have shifted, and instead of rushing into bustling shopping malls, tourists are now seeking cultural experiences, exploring unique cuisines, or engaging in outdoor activities to better understand the local culture. Many tourists have realized that goods in the U.S. are no longer cheaper than elsewhere. In fact, in some cases, products in the U.S. are much more expensive than in Europe or Asia. Additionally, high sales taxes, oversized luggage fees, and other additional costs make shopping at malls far less attractive. A woman from Toronto shared her story. "I used to go to New York every year just to shop at Macy's. Back then, I always came home with at least 3 suitcases full of amazing items. But now, I feel lucky if I can just buy a small silk scarf for my granddaughter. Everything I need is available in Canada, and many of the things I've bought were cheaper when I was in Italy last year." Her story isn't just a personal experience, but reflects the mindset of millions of other customers. People who once saw shopping in the U.S. as a joy, but are now looking for alternatives. This reality is not just a change in shopping habits, but a shift in how tourists experience the U.S. Shopping is no longer the main attraction. Instead, they are seeking unique experiences, exploring new cultures, and enjoying memorable moments at restaurants, cafes, or places that aren't found in traditional travel guides. This not only reflects a change in tourists' needs, but also presents a major shock to the U.S. retail economy, which once built its global reputation on unforgettable shopping trips. So the big question is, can the U.S. recover its retail industry? Or will we witness a major transformation, where new experiences become the primary consumer trend, replacing the image of traditional shopping malls? Hilton Hotels and Resorts, once a symbol of luxury and prestige, is facing a concerning reality that few could have predicted. Previously seen as the pinnacle of sophistication and beloved by travelers from around the world, Hilton is now witnessing an increasing number of vacant rooms, even during Florida's peak tourist season. A housekeeping staff member at a Hilton hotel in Florida shared that last summer. She almost had to work overtime every week, but this year, her schedule has been cut down to only 3 days a week. This isn't just coincidental. The number of international guests at Hilton has significantly decreased. There are weeks when the hotel has only a few rooms available. She mentioned that she has never seen Hilton so empty. According to STR, Hilton's occupancy rate at popular tourist spots in the U.S. has dropped by as much as 15% compared to pre-pandemic times, despite a strong recovery in domestic tourism. So why are customers abandoning Hilton? The reasons are not hard to spot. Hotel room rates at Hilton properties have increased by about 25% compared to previous years, and on top of that, many additional service fees have made tourists start seeking more affordable and convenient alternatives. Interestingly, it's not just international guests. Even Americans are gradually shifting to smaller boutique hotels or services like Airbnb in Europe and Asia. These options are not only more affordable, but they also offer travelers unique local experiences. In fact, many loyal Hilton customers admit that they are willing to fly to Portugal or Spain, stay at a similar hotel for just 70% of the price in the US, and enjoy breathtaking scenery and new cultural experiences. To meet this demand, Hilton has started making significant investments in all-inclusive packages, including accommodation, dining, and entertainment, hoping to compete with international resorts. Additionally, Hilton is experimenting with AI-driven personalized services to enhance convenience and draw loyal customers back. These services promise to provide a highly customized shopping and vacation experience, making customers feel like an important part of Hilton's service ecosystem. Could this be the key for Hilton to regain its global appeal and rise above this crisis? A world-class tech conference that used to be held in New York has now moved to Lisbon, simply because organizing it is cheaper and more convenient there. It may sound unbelievable, but with the swift and surprising changes in the tourism and service industry, this risk is no longer a distant prospect. Will Hilton and other giants in the tourism industry find new ways to regain their position, or will they remain overshadowed by the changing global market? The answer will undoubtedly have a profound impact on the future of the travel and leisure industry. Think back to Marriott's glory days, when they were the undisputed king of the meetings and events industry, and you'll remember the gilded ballrooms in Washington, D.C., the stunning resorts in Hawaii, and the world-class service Marriott provided. For CEOs, politicians, and multi-million-dollar events, Marriott was the go-to destination. But the undeniable truth is that the market has changed, and Marriott is facing a major challenge that they can't ignore. According to the American Hotel and Lodging Association, international conference bookings in the United States have dropped nearly 30% over the past year. And unfortunately, Marriott is one of the brands that has been hit the hardest. What's causing this king to stumble? The answer is cost. It's that simple. Conference room rates in the United States are now 35% higher than in Europe. In addition, hidden service fees and rising catering costs make holding a conference in the US too expensive, making many partners nervous and no longer interested in options here. And it's not just a matter of cost. International companies and even some American companies have started looking for conference locations outside the US. Why? Because holding a conference in famous European cities is now not only cost-effective, but also provides a memorable experience for employees. Instead of holding a conference in New York, many companies are now choosing Barcelona as their destination, with strategy meetings in the morning and relaxing afternoons watching the Mediterranean sunset. Just look at the numbers and you will see the difference. A 3-day conference package in Lisbon costs just $500 per person, a savings of $400,000 or $1,000 compared to hosting a similar event in Chicago, including international airfare. Such a stark difference has Marriott in the US worried as its conference bookings are down while its European locations are soaring. But will Marriott sit back and let customers go? Of course not. It has plans to invest heavily in hybrid meeting technology, combining online and in-person experiences to deliver convenience and retain customers. What's more, Marriott is working to upgrade its conference packages, adding cultural and culinary experiences to enrich the customer journey. With the right strategy, Marriott can still reclaim a valuable portion of its market and continue to be a go-to destination for those looking for more than just work, but also experiences. What about you? If your company needs to host a conference, would you choose Midtown New York with its high costs and the buzz of a big city, or a European coastal city where you can combine work with great relaxation, explore new cultures, and enjoy great scenery? Your answer may reflect part of a larger shift in the travel and events industry, where it is not just about work, but also about life experiences. If major hotel chains are facing a loss of customers due to shifting travel trends, the question is, what about the airline industry? The industry, which relies heavily on business and leisure travel, is also experiencing major changes. Routes that were once familiar, carrying millions of passengers each year to popular destinations, are disappearing. Flights from New York to Honolulu, Los Angeles to Orlando, and transatlantic routes from Boston to Paris were all staples of American travelers' itineraries. But now, they are becoming distant memories. According to data from OAG, more than a dozen long-haul international and domestic routes on American Airlines and Delta have been cut back sharply in the past year due to a significant drop in passengers. It's not just a lack of customers, it's a change in American travel habits. Today, customers are increasingly turning to international low-cost carriers, willing to accept longer layovers to save a few $100s per ticket. The convenience of direct flights is becoming less attractive when compared to the cheaper fares offered by international airlines, and this is forcing major airlines to rethink their strategies. A clear example is the London to Orlando route. Once a legendary route, with European tourists flocking to Disney every year. However, the route has now been discontinued, with European tourists heading to Disney parks in Tokyo and Paris instead of the US. Even more heartbreaking is that before the COVID-19 pandemic, the New York to Honolulu route used to be at 92% capacity during peak season. But this year, that figure has dropped to below 70%, forcing airlines to reduce frequencies and raise fares to cover losses. This has led to many passengers switching to other airlines to save money. This is even more remarkable when we look at a strange trend. Americans are now choosing to fly Qatar Airways to Europe and then connecting to Hawaii because the total cost is even lower than a direct flight from the US. Passengers can save hundreds of dollars, and instead of expensive flights on US airlines, they choose convenient and affordable connecting flights on international airlines. To retain customers, American Airlines and Delta have begun experimenting with resort-based flight packages, offering personalized flight experiences with innovative services. But will a fancy meal or free Wi-Fi be enough to save the day? Maintaining their iconic routes will require more than just improving services. To cope with increasing competition from international airlines, major US airlines will have to come up with more creative ways to attract customers back, from improving service to creating unique and memorable flight experiences. So, if it were you, would you choose an expensive non-stop flight on a US airline or a cost-effective connecting flight on an international airline? And if even established airlines like American Airlines and Delta are struggling to retain customers, how much longer will the cruise industry, considered a vacation paradise for many, survive? As travel trends change rapidly, Americans' choice of vacation type will be influenced not only by price, but also by the unique experience each type of travel brings. Stay tuned. When many Americans think of luxury cruises, they immediately picture the giant ships of Carnival Cruise Line or Royal Caribbean, sailing from Miami, the ultimate destination for luxury, sun, wind, and waves. Cruise ships with infinity pools, 24/7 buffets, non-stop entertainment, and long days of enjoying the Caribbean sunshine were once the pinnacle of vacation travel. However, the current story is far from what we imagined. According to a report by CLIA, Cruise Line International Association, the number of cruise ships departing from US ports has decreased by more than 18% compared to 2019. Meanwhile, the number of ships departing from Europe and the Caribbean has increased by nearly 25% over the same period. This reversal raises a big question. Is America's cruise paradise losing its appeal? And the answer is not so hard to guess. Price is the biggest barrier. The cost of a cruise departing from the US has increased dramatically. Port fees are getting higher, and even domestic flights to departure ports are skyrocketing. This has caused many travelers, especially retired Americans, to start looking at other options. For the same budget, they realize that they can fly to Europe, take a Mediterranean cruise, visit Italy, France, and Greece, all beautiful countries, instead of just hanging around the Caribbean. A clear example is a 7-day cruise from Miami to the Bahamas, which costs about $1,200 per person. However, for just $150 more, you can board a Royal Caribbean cruise departing from Barcelona and visit 3 wonderful countries, Italy, France, and Greece, in one itinerary. This has completely changed the perspective of many customers. A trip to the Caribbean may still be appealing, but the Mediterranean is truly unmissable. So Carnival and Royal Caribbean are planning to expand their international cruise lines and upgrade their port experiences. They're looking to add exclusive anchorages, local cultural tours, and partner with celebrity chefs to create unique dining experiences for their guests. These changes are meant to differentiate themselves and hopefully return U.S. cruises to their former glory. So if you had 7 days off, would you choose a familiar Caribbean cruise departing from Miami? Or would you fly to Barcelona and enjoy a Mediterranean cruise, experiencing 3 countries in one trip? It's not just about choosing between 2 destinations. It's about how we view and experience travel. Are you willing to change your perspective to have a more memorable vacation, even if it means crossing an ocean? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Who would have thought that one day the iconic casinos of Atlantic City, once symbols of luxury, prosperity, and pride of the American entertainment industry, would have to be put up for sale? Caesars Entertainment, one of the largest and most prestigious casino corporations in the world, behind a series of famous casinos from Las Vegas to New Orleans, was once a dream destination for the elite and tourists looking for bright lights and lavish parties. But today, the story of Caesars is gradually changing. In recent years, the sharp decline in international visitors is pushing many famous brands into difficult situations. Revenue from international visitors is down more than 20%. Hotel bookings are also constantly decreasing. This is a big shock for a brand that was once a symbol of the American casino industry. Similar to MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment is facing fierce competition from more developed international markets. Destinations like Singapore, Macau, and Monte Carlo have become more attractive options for the elite, where guests can not only gamble but also experience personalized service, complimentary suites, and multi-million-dollar promotions in a single night. It is the rising costs of services combined with competition from overseas markets that have forced Caesars to cut staff, close some tables at major casinos, and reduce the number of shows to save costs. But the biggest shock is yet to come. According to reputable sources in the industry, a portion of Caesars Entertainment's assets, its prestigious hotels and casinos, are now in negotiations to be sold to foreign investors. It would be the first time that part of a U.S. casino empire has fallen into foreign hands, a worrying sign of change in the industry. Ironically, Las Vegas, which once proudly declared itself the casino capital of the world, now faces an uncertain future. It may have to continue expanding, at least until its entire casino empire is sold. To retain its appeal, Caesars Entertainment is experimenting with a new model, the multi-entertainment model. Going beyond gambling, Caesars is incorporating a variety of entertainment, from concerts to sporting events to fine dining, all in an effort to attract a new group of customers who come here for more than just gambling. The biggest question, however, remains: will these changes be enough to preserve the soul of the American casino industry, which has long been an irreplaceable symbol of the country? Can the multi-entertainment model sustain and even bring Caesars back to its former glory? And if you are a tourist, would you still want to go to Las Vegas, where there is now more than just gambling, but also a mix of different experiences? Would you continue to choose a traditional casino or the promising new options from international markets? We invite you to follow this journey, discovering the real stories behind the seemingly ordinary headlines. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next content. All information in this video is compiled from trade reports, public data, and official documents as of August 2025. Please note, this video is not intended as political propaganda, is not aimed at any individual or organization, and does not represent any government. Our sole goal is to bring you an insight and help you better understand the major changes that are affecting the U.S. economy and society. We can't just let this go without reflection. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the future of the U.S. casino and tourism industry? Can legacy brands bounce back? Let's discuss. The heartbeat of technology, once a vibrant symbol of innovation and global inspiration, now quietly fades. Silicon Valley, long celebrated as the cradle of innovation, still glows in the public eye. But beneath the surface, a seismic shift is happening. The flow of innovation is steadily moving northward, to Canada. What could have prompted these tech giants, once the driving force behind the U.S. economy, to leave their roots and seek new opportunities elsewhere? Is it the growing talent crisis, the unrelenting rise in operational costs, or the increasingly restrictive regulations that have finally pushed them out? In this video, we will explore the factors driving this shift and analyze why 2025 might be the turning point marking the beginning of a new era in the tech industry. This is no longer a shift solely affecting the US. It is an emerging trend that could reshape the global landscape. The days when the US held the crown as the tech capital of the world might soon be over. As Donald Trump once said, "America first, but we must ensure our strength globally." A reminder that while it is vital to maintain America's power, adapting to the global pulse is equally crucial. The question is, are we witnessing a transformation that the US can no longer control? In this video, we will dive deep into these factors and ask, how long can the US retain its dominant position in the face of these challenges? What does this shift mean for the future of the tech industry and the global economy? Stay tuned as we unpack these crucial developments. You won't want to miss this conversation. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts with us in the comments. Don't let this moment slip by. This conversation is one that could shape the future of technology. The 10th giant on the list of companies shifting operations to Canada is none other than Microsoft, an iconic name synonymous with American technological prowess. Yet in 2025, Microsoft announced a monumental $570 million investment to establish a new headquarters in downtown Toronto, along with plans to hire over 6,000 employees for its cloud AI and cybersecurity infrastructures. This move isn't just an expansion. It marks a strategic pivot, signaling a forward-looking vision for Microsoft's future. But why Toronto? What is it about Canada that offers a unique combination of world-class talent, low operational costs, and an efficient immigration system? The answer lies in Canada's competitive edge, with programs like the Global Talent Visa, which allows Microsoft to hire international engineers in weeks, not months. Moreover, Canada's 35% R&D tax credit reduces development costs, maintaining the company's competitive advantage. Meanwhile, many of Microsoft's US offices are grappling with hiring freezes and internal challenges. This move to Toronto gives Microsoft access to a rapidly expanding AI ecosystem, backed by world-renowned research institutions like the Vector Institute. The new center is not just another office. It's becoming the heart of AI and cloud technology development in North America. With the Canadian government pushing for public-private partnerships in tech, Microsoft sees ample long-term opportunities in this thriving landscape. This is not an abandonment of the US. It's a smart, calculated move, a strategic decision to build an environment where innovation can flourish sustainably. If Microsoft, one of the largest tech giants in the world, is shifting its operations this way, the question is, what does this mean for the future of the US in the global tech race? Google's relentless pursuit of innovation hasn't slowed down in the US, but in 2025, it has shifted gears significantly in Canada. By doubling the size of its Toronto Engineering Center, Google has solidified its commitment to expanding its footprint beyond the US, signaling a major step in its global strategy. While Silicon Valley campuses are growing quieter, with thousands of employees working remotely, Toronto has emerged as the new hub for Google's cutting-edge technology and innovation. But why Toronto? What does this city offer that Silicon Valley can't? Canada is offering Google unique advantages that the US simply can't match. The country's expertise in AI, cultivated by top institutions like the University of Toronto and Mila in Montreal, has created a deep talent pool. This talent is critical to Google's push to enhance its AI capabilities amidst fierce global competition. Moreover, Canada's efficient visa processes and stable political environment have made it easier for Google to recruit international talent quickly, something that has become increasingly difficult in the US due to political gridlock and delays in visa approvals. The shift was most noticeable in Google's AI division. In 2022, several core teams responsible for Search and Gemini AI quietly relocated to Toronto. This wasn't a decision driven by cost-cutting, but a strategic move to place innovation at the heart of a thriving tech ecosystem. Google is not abandoning the US. Rather, it's diversifying its approach to ensure long-term success. With its transparent legal framework, generous research incentives, and stable environment, Canada provides the perfect ecosystem for Google to push the boundaries of next-generation technology. Toronto has now become not just another office location, but a key player in Google's strategy to outpace global competition. For a company as powerful as Google, choosing Toronto isn't just a minor shift. It's a significant signal that the global tech landscape is changing. Cities like Toronto are no longer merely competing with Silicon Valley on location, but on the quality of the environment they offer to drive innovation. If Google is prioritizing Toronto, what does this mean for the broader tech industry? The question now is this just the beginning of a global shift, where major tech companies move toward favorable environments like Canada to experiment and innovate? The tech industry is evolving, and if the current trend continues, cities like Toronto could redefine the next era of innovation. So, here's the real question. Do you think this signals the end of Silicon Valley's dominance, with companies like Google finding success in more stable environments? If you agree, leave a 1 in the comments. Or do you believe the US can still hold its place as the tech capital of the world? If you think so, leave a 2 in the comments. Share your thoughts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated on the changing landscape of global technology. Position number 8 belongs to IBM, a company that, for over a century, rarely made drastic changes. However, in 2025, the tech giant made a bold and strategic decision to significantly expand its operations in Canada. In an unexpected move, IBM consolidated its underutilized offices in the US and launched a massive 680,000 square foot, about 65,000 square meters, innovation center in downtown Toronto. This isn't just any office space. It's a state-of-the-art hub focused on cybersecurity, hybrid AI cloud solutions, and digital transformation. Canada provided exactly what IBM needed to continue its growth trajectory. The country offers a stable policy environment, predictable costs, and a government that actively supports innovation, elements that have been crucial to IBM's decision. While the US is facing shifting regulations and rising office rents, Canada offers significant advantages such as R&D tax credits, streamlined immigration policies, and a growing public-private partnership focus in tech. IBM is also benefiting from direct access to Canada's thriving enterprise technology ecosystem and a pool of talent from prestigious universities such as Waterloo and McGill. Toronto, beyond being a more cost-effective option, is positioning itself as the new tech hub, particularly in financial technology, AI, and cloud computing. IBM's new center is not merely a workplace but a showroom, where clients can directly experience the company's cutting-edge cloud solutions. For a company with over 110 years of legacy, such a strategic pivot is a monumental shift. Choosing Canada as the next phase of IBM's journey showcases the company's smart adaptation to the evolving tech landscape. But what does this mean for the global tech industry? Is IBM's move a sign that other tech giants are following suit, opting for countries that offer more stability, better policies, and greater innovation opportunities? Or could this be a temporary shift, with companies like IBM eventually returning to the US when the political and business environment stabilizes? Position 7 goes to Snowflake, a cloud data giant that is defying industry trends in 2025. While many tech companies are scaling back or freezing growth, Snowflake is expanding rapidly in Canada. The company has leased over 1 million square feet, approximately 90,000 square meters, of premium office space in downtown Toronto. But this isn't just another satellite office. This is quickly becoming the technical backbone of Snowflake's global platform. Why is Snowflake choosing Canada? The answer is simple. Canada offers exactly what the company needs to thrive. First, the country boasts a rich pool of skilled data engineers, something the US is struggling to provide in abundance. Second, operational costs in Canada are significantly lower than in major tech hubs like San Francisco or New York. Most importantly, Canada offers a stable environment for growth, which is something Snowflake can no longer rely on in the US. With its soaring salaries, immigration delays, and ongoing political debates about data privacy. In Toronto, Snowflake has found a perfect environment to grow rapidly and attract top-tier talent. Universities such as the University of Toronto and Waterloo are producing some of the best students in computer science and data science. At Snowflake's new center, hundreds of engineers are working on building the company's core platform, which powers everything from healthcare and financial systems for Fortune 500 companies to essential government infrastructures. What Snowflake is building in Canada is not just an office or a tech center. It's laying the foundation for the future of data infrastructure. Leveraging Canada's generous R&D tax credits, Snowflake is reducing its development costs, making innovation more sustainable and efficient. Company leaders emphasize that this isn't about abandoning the US, but about strategically rebalancing for a future where Canada is becoming a global tech hub. As I reflect on this shift, it reminds me of a time when I was a computer science student, eager to find career opportunities in the fast-paced US tech environment. I always believed that success could only be found in Silicon Valley or other US-based tech giants. But seeing companies like Snowflake shift their focus to Canada made me realize that innovation and opportunities are not restricted to one region. Canada's open policies, stable environment, and world-class talent pool have made me reconsider my career path. And now I find myself asking, could Canada be the next great frontier for tech professionals like me? The big question is Snowflake's strategic shift to Canada a signal of a broader trend in the tech industry, where companies are moving toward more stable, cost-effective, and innovation-friendly environments? Could we see more companies follow in Snowflake's footsteps and make Canada their go-to tech hub for the future? Number 6 on the list is Netflix. For years, Netflix has dominated the streaming industry and been synonymous with Hollywood, the epicenter of global entertainment. But in 2025, the company made a surprising decision that sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. Instead of doubling down on its longtime home base in Los Angeles, Netflix made a strategic move, choosing Toronto as its primary production and post-production hub. This move wasn't just about reducing costs by filming in Canada. It was about building a comprehensive, self-sustaining creative ecosystem, including state-of-the-art production facilities, VFX studios, dubbing centers, and distribution channels all within the country. So why did Netflix make this bold move? The answer is simple. Canada offers key advantages that Hollywood can no longer provide. In the US, Netflix is facing ongoing strikes, increasing pressure from labor unions, and skyrocketing production costs. Meanwhile, Toronto presents stability, lower operating costs, and a government that is proactive in supporting the creative industry. This combination allows Netflix to continue producing high-quality content without the external obstacles they face in the US. By heavily investing in modern studios and advanced editing rooms, Netflix is laying the foundation for a new creative ecosystem in Toronto. This is more than just a move to serve Canadian audiences. It's about reaching global viewers. The shows and films completed in Toronto are now streamed in over 190 countries, offering Netflix unprecedented access to international audiences without the hefty transportation costs. Toronto's large pool of talented filmmakers also enables Netflix to ramp up production without the labor shortages seen in Hollywood. Canada is becoming a central pillar in Netflix's long-term strategy, and it's clear that the company's creative influence is expanding globally. Netflix isn't abandoning Hollywood, but it's no longer as reliant on it as it once was. As the streaming competition intensifies, Canada has emerged as a key stronghold for Netflix's creative future. Netflix is not just increasing its production scale, it's reshaping the entire streaming industry by adopting new strategies that promote sustainability and adaptability. This shift raises a critical question. With giants like Netflix leading the way, is the traditional Hollywood-based model of production becoming outdated? Could other creative companies follow Netflix's lead and build their own global production platforms in countries that offer more supportive, innovative environments? The question is, will this shift mark a fundamental change in the entertainment industry, as companies look beyond Hollywood to build stronger, more sustainable production hubs in countries like Canada? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Number 5 on the list is Reddit. Known as the front page of the internet, Reddit has gone through significant challenges in the US, from key administrators leaving to major advertisers pulling out. However, in 2025, Reddit made a quiet but strategic decision to open its first major international office in Toronto. This isn't just another customer support center. It's a new hub for core teams focusing on engineering, product development, and community operations. Why Canada? Because Reddit, like many companies, recognized the increasing difficulty of operating in the US. From cultural wars and political pressure to legal instability, these challenges have made it harder for companies like Reddit to scale and innovate. In contrast, Canada offers a more stable legal environment, a highly skilled engineering workforce, and lower operating costs, allowing Reddit to continue its growth without encountering the same roadblocks. Additionally, Canada is Reddit's third largest market, with a vibrant and growing user base. In Toronto, Reddit's engineering teams are directly working on core features like content moderation tools, monetization systems, and recommendation algorithms. These aren't just side projects. They are crucial to Reddit's global roadmap, helping the platform maintain and expand its massive online community. One key factor in Reddit's decision to expand to Toronto is the city's fewer legal barriers, combined with a diverse talent pool that allows for quicker and more efficient development of new products. Reddit's leadership stresses that this is not about abandoning the US, but making a responsible, strategic move for the long-term sustainability of its global user base. As Reddit looks to integrate AI and expand its monetization capabilities, Canada has proven to be the ideal environment for the company's next phase. For Reddit, this isn't about turning its back on the US, but about strategically building a future in an environment that offers favorable conditions. Canada doesn't just help Reddit sustain its community. It provides the perfect place to innovate and experiment with new technologies that will meet the evolving needs of its global audience. Position 7 goes to Snowflake, a cloud data giant that is defying industry trends in 2025. While many tech companies are scaling back or freezing growth, Snowflake is expanding rapidly in Canada. The company has leased over 1 million square feet, approximately 90,000 square meters, of premium office space in downtown Toronto. But this isn't just another satellite office. This is quickly becoming the technical backbone of Snowflake's global platform. Why is Snowflake choosing Canada? The answer is simple. Canada offers exactly what the company needs to thrive. First, the country boasts a rich pool of skilled data engineers, something the US is struggling to provide in abundance. Second, operational costs in Canada are significantly lower than in major tech hubs like San Francisco or New York. Most importantly, Canada offers a stable environment for growth, which is something Snowflake can no longer rely on in the US. With its soaring salaries, immigration delays, and ongoing political debates about data privacy. In Toronto, Snowflake has found a perfect environment to grow rapidly and attract top-tier talent. Universities such as the University of Toronto and Waterloo are producing some of the best students in computer science and data science. At Snowflake's new center, hundreds of engineers are working on building the company's core platform, which powers everything from healthcare and financial systems for Fortune 500 companies to essential government infrastructures. What Snowflake is building in Canada is not just an office or a tech center. It's laying the foundation for the future of data infrastructure. Leveraging Canada's generous R&D tax credits, Snowflake is reducing its development costs, making innovation more sustainable and efficient. Company leaders emphasize that this isn't about abandoning the US, but about strategically rebalancing for a future where Canada is becoming a global tech hub. As I reflect on this shift, it reminds me of a time when I was a computer science student, eager to find career opportunities in the fast-paced US tech environment. I always believed that success could only be found in Silicon Valley or other US-based tech giants. But seeing companies like Snowflake shift their focus to Canada made me realize that innovation and opportunities are not restricted to one region. Canada's open policies, stable environment, and world-class talent pool have made me reconsider my career path. And now I find myself asking, could Canada be the next great frontier for tech professionals like me? The big question is Is Snowflake's strategic shift to Canada a signal of a broader trend in the tech industry, where companies are moving toward more stable, cost-effective, and innovation-friendly environments? Could we see more companies follow in Snowflake's footsteps and make Canada their go-to tech hub for the future? Number 3. Amazon. Amazon built its empire on scale, speed, and dominance, emerging as the global icon of e-commerce and technology in the US. But in the 2020s and continuing into 2025, Amazon has quietly shifted gears and redefined its strategic path. The escalation of legal battles, union movements, and opposition from cities once eager for Amazon's presence have made growth in the US increasingly challenging. As a result, the company has chosen to move critical infrastructure northward, marking a pivotal moment in its history. One of Amazon's most significant moves was opening a massive fulfillment center in Scarborough, Ontario, which created over 600 new jobs. But this is just the beginning of a much larger plan. The real transformation lies in the expansion of Amazon Web Services, AWS, across Ontario and Quebec, with the launch of new data centers, a crucial step to reinforce Amazon's global cloud network. Why Canada? Because the US environment has become increasingly difficult for Amazon. Antitrust lawsuits, unionization efforts, and growing opposition from the very cities Amazon once considered its home base are making it harder to scale in the US. Rising labor costs and stricter regulations have compounded these issues, pushing Amazon to find a more stable development environment. Canada has emerged as the perfect solution. The country offers a friendly government, stable labor costs, and a growing tech talent pool. With these factors in place, Canada has become an attractive location for Amazon to invest in. But Amazon isn't just focusing on entertainment services with its Canadian expansion. AWS is now crucial for industries such as banking, healthcare, and government, with Canadian data centers providing Amazon with greater flexibility and backup capabilities while ensuring a stable legal environment for growth. The long-term strategy is clear. The expansion of Amazon's infrastructure in Canada also provides the company with a significant advantage in cross-border logistics. This allows Amazon to efficiently serve both US and Canadian markets while avoiding the legal and political instability currently gripping the US. The move is not an abandonment of the US, but rather a strategic rebalancing of risk and opportunity. As the company continues to expand northward, the question arises: will Seattle, once the heart of Amazon's empire, still play a major role in its future? Or will it simply become another node in Amazon's vast global network? This shift signifies more than just a geographical expansion. It's a statement of restructuring the very foundations of Amazon's growth strategy. And it could be the beginning of a larger shift in the tech industry as companies seek more stable environments for their operations. Could this be the new blueprint for success in the evolving global economy? Number 2. Coinbase. Number 2. Coinbase. Coinbase, a titan in the US crypto world, is making a bold move. In a major shift for the digital finance industry, the company is establishing a new development hub in Toronto, Canada, hiring hundreds of full-time employees. But why this great migration? The answer lies in two very different approaches to a new and ever-evolving frontier. For years, the US has been stuck in a chaotic and uncertain debate over crypto regulation. The SEC and other agencies can't seem to agree on how to classify digital assets, creating a volatile legal environment. For a company like Coinbase, this isn't a minor inconvenience. It's a serious business risk. As the company has faced ongoing investigations and legal threats, making it incredibly difficult to innovate and grow its core operations. Meanwhile, Canada has taken a different approach. In 2024, it passed the Digital Asset Management Act, which provides a clear and stable legal framework for crypto companies. This certainty is exactly what a company like Coinbase needs to thrive. With a predictable environment, the company can focus on what it does best: building new products, protecting its banking partnerships, and expanding its operations responsibly. Coinbase executives have stressed that this isn't a retreat from the US, but a strategic move to secure a more stable future. Toronto, which is fast becoming a major financial tech hub, is the perfect launchpad. However, if the regulatory uncertainty in the US continues, we could see more and more key operations shift northward. This move could signal a major change in the global digital finance landscape. Is Canada poised to become the new promised land for crypto, while the US struggles to keep up? Number 1. Ripple. Ripple, once hailed as one of the brightest stars in the US blockchain landscape, faced years of legal battles with the SEC that nearly pushed the company to the brink of collapse. However, in 2025, Ripple took a decisive step that would reshape its future. The company opened a large technical center in Toronto and moved its core operations out of the US. This wasn't just a relocation. It was a fresh start. Ripple is hiring over 100 blockchain engineers in Canada to develop the next generation of its XRP ledger, cross-border payments, and financial technology infrastructure. Why Canada? What the US couldn't provide, Canada delivered. With the Digital Asset Management Act now in place, Ripple has the legal transparency and institutional support it needs to develop and launch products without the looming threat of litigation. This shift to Canada isn't just about avoiding legal headaches. It's about tapping into a thriving blockchain ecosystem with access to world-class talent and proximity to major banking hubs, providing invaluable growth opportunities. But this move isn't just a new chapter for Ripple. It serves as a warning sign to the entire blockchain industry. If a global leader in real-time payments can't find the support it needs in its home country, other companies in the same sector will likely follow suit. Ripple is not abandoning the US. They are safeguarding their mission by choosing a more stable and supportive environment. And with Toronto at the center of their operations, this city may soon emerge as the global blockchain capital. The bigger lesson here goes beyond Ripple. It's about adaptability and strategic growth. In a world filled with regulatory uncertainty and shifting markets, companies must be flexible and proactive in seeking environments that foster long-term innovation and sustainable success. This bold decision by Ripple reminds us that the future of the tech and blockchain industry may no longer be centered around traditional hubs, but rather in places that offer stability, transparency, and opportunity. Will other tech giants follow Ripple's lead, choosing countries with more favorable conditions for growth? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into the evolving global tech